want to lose the job that I've got 16 good years of experience, for some guy that who knows who he's going to be.
Well, the merit system does play a role in some of that.
Let me grab another caller.
Okay, thanks, Ed.
Thank you. Let's see. Let's go here. Good morning. Sorry for your wait. You're on WHBU.
Hi,
Hello.
it's Nicole Kapuscinski.
Yes. How are you this morning?
How are you doing?
Good.
I just got done doing the Veterans Coffee Club and saw I still had a couple minutes to call in and try to touch base with you this week.
You do, and I'm glad to hear from you. Now, tell me what you did with the Veterans Coffee.
Yeah, we did the Veterans Coffee Club this morning at the Salvation Army. We had a nice turnout, too. Had a guy that has got connections to the Pentagon come in. And,
okay.
yeah, it's kind of like, I just sit down and listen.
I'll bet it was fascinating. Yeah.
How many veterans were there? How many veterans typically are there?
This round, we were up to like 50 to 60 when we were at the other venue. And then there's been a little rocky stuff going on over there at the Anderson Impact Center, so I switched over to Salvation Army.
Good for you.
And we're just starting out, kind of, really. So I'm planning that we get back up to the 50, 60 a week or a month, because I do it once a month. But there was only like 10 of us or less there today. And
now, let me ask, Nicole, you're a veteran, right?
Yes, combat veteran, Operation Iraqi Freedom, 2008.
Yep, that's what I thought. Because the young fellow that's involved in a shooting in Minnesota was also a veteran. And so some of that came up as a question about his background.
Interesting, because I was kind of curious about the rules of engagement on that one.
That's exactly where we were going.
Right? So,
yes.
when we were in, our R.O.E. was so intense. We're in the middle of Baghdad and some of the most...
What's R.O.E.?
Rules of engagement.
It's rules of engagement. It's the abbreviation for R.O.E.
I just know a lot of people don't know those.
Sorry. So they, and those are set by, what are those, the United Nations sets those, I think, and they go in and they tell you what you can and can't do. So anyway, they were so strict when we were over there. If we were out on a mission, we were told, you can't shoot first. Or, you gotta do all these different things, maybe throw something at them to get them away from you or whatever, but we were instructed you can't shoot them your first option.
And this is in a war zone.
Yeah,
This is a war zone, not a neighborhood, not an American neighborhood.
We were in
this
a war
zone, and you had restrictions.
Yeah, I'm in a Humvee. I had a 50. Well, I didn't have to drive it all the time, but if I was in a Humvee with a 50 cal on top, I'm trying to figure out how we don't even, hit a bump and accidentally hit the trigger. It was like so intense.
Mm-hmm.
So they told us, if you're going to fire a round off, you better make sure that you are in the right. And then the first shot should at least be at the ground, or if they're in a vehicle, shoot a tire out, or, you do something to the vehicle. But, my unit and the people that we trained with were taught, you don't shoot like that.
What would happen to you if you did?
Oh, we would have been chaptered out, Chapter 13, or I'm not sure what that would have fell under. And then they would have probably pressed charges, depending, war crimes. You saw what they did with Abu Ghraib. Those guys went in there, they did some shady stuff. It may not have been shooting, but they got themselves in a lot of trouble, and I think they got a couple years in the brig, federal prison type stuff. So,
even in a war zone, not following rules, you're not covered by a blanket immunity.
No, that not to my knowledge. And if they were, I didn't get that special privilege card.
Yeah,
I would have gotten a lot of trouble. I would have lost my job and benefits.
Because some of our discussion today has focused on this young lady that was Miss Renee Good, who was shot up north in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Have you read that? Have you followed any of that?
Well, because I'm an activist, and I've probably got more protests logged under my belt here in Anderson and at the State House than a lot of people I know. And so I haven't really read the stories, and I was trying to avoid watching the videos because I do have PTSD and all that stuff. But as things was playing out yesterday, I kept seeing the little clips of them. So finally I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch this. Yeah. And so I watched the first one, and, there are some discrepancies, like whether she hit him or she didn't hit him and all this. And so I don't think he had a good enough reason to pull the trigger. I mean, ultimately, even if she hit him with the car, I think he could have done something different. Yeah.
Step
and I don't necessarily agree with the protesters getting in the way of, not necessarily, but anybody in the line of duty trying to do whatever their job is. I don't think you should get in front of them either.
Yeah, as a protester that's been involved in that activity in the places that you have, is there just a general knowledge amongst people about how they interact with police officers or military forces that are in, like ICE?
Well, it would be dependent on your group running it. Yeah. So, I know there's some groups out of Muncie that do a lot of things that I would not condone or participate in, and I don't necessarily want to go to jail for anything. There was a one protest from John Sullivan, which was one of the guys that broke into the Capitol, and he had shot someone, or somebody had a gun and shot at somebody trying to drive through their line, and I saw how they handled that, and I was like, I don't want that. So I have rules at mine. Generally, keep your hands to yourself, stay on the sidewalks, don't throw nothing at nobody. Mm-hmm. But there are organizers out there that they do things that stuff like what happened to her. So it's just dependent on who's planning the events.
Yeah, Nicole, you were in front of the city council this week too, and you carried a cause there.
I sure did. Oh, that was fun. So, what I did there but the long story on that one was from December 2024 when we were dealing with the ARPA funds, and we got into a heated argument inside the chambers where I was told to pretty much shut up and go sit down, and by Jennifer Culp, actually. And so me and her and Landers have had some squaring up on social media for the last year, and I've been banned by the Republican Party pretty much for Madison County. They've said all kinds of mean stuff about me. They've told people I've been dishonorably discharged. They've got me blocked from being able to respond to them on social media so they can say whatever they want about me, but how dare I try to defend myself from what they're saying. And so anyway, it came to a head. I got tired of watching Rebecca Crooms get yelled at. And so when the water park thing went through a couple weeks ago, which we talked about there, I put in a request to be able to speak about 1A suppression, because I think that a lot of the people are forgetting who they work for, and that we don't work for them. They're supposed to work for us, and it's not very nice how they treat us. So I dealt with the 1A suppression, and then talked about the Superfund park, or Superfund water park, and then the homeless issue, the warming center that we seem to be lacking.
Why do you think that city council people, you mentioned Culp, for instance, doesn't care about that stuff?
Well, there's a couple things. I'm not sure why they would try to suppress our speech so much, other than I'm like an expert debater, and so I'm going to make certain points I don't think they want other people to hear. So that's why they would try to limit my speech so that I can't make my mic drop moments at the podium.
Yeah, the question I have for Jennifer Culp, Councilwoman Culp, is why she's voted with the Democrats to increase the budget $1 million every year.
See, those are interesting points. And then, she was on the ARPA fund boards that handed out money to people that didn't necessarily qualify for the ARPA fund.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got a lot of issues there, conflict of interest. I've turned them into the State Board of Accounts over it. And in fact, I got to get back to him next week and give him some of my receipts that I've pulled from public record. So yeah, it's kind of interesting how it just feels like they've been running amok with no oversight for a couple years, and they don't know what to think when someone comes in and says, hey, we want accountability, we want oversight and transparency, and then all heck breaks loose after that.
Yeah.
So
I'll just tell you that is typical behavior of city councils since Mark Lawler took over as mayor. They've just, Anyway, hey, thank you for calling. I'm going to try to get one more in here for the top of the hour.
all right, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
You call again. Always like to hear updates. And you have the final word here. Good morning.
Well, good morning. There is only one justification for the police officer firing his weapon, and I'm sure that you officers know, and that is if he felt his safety or life was in danger.
No, you're leaving out a big one.
What?
Protect the life of another.
I'm sorry, I don't see where that works in there.
Okay. Just telling you, that's what the law says.
Yeah, if he was afraid for his life, he didn't have to stand in front of the car, and he could have just stepped 1 foot to the right.
Well, no. What I'm saying is that you're justified as a police officer in taking a life if your life or the life of another person is in danger. So if you walk into a situation where a guy is holding a gal at gunpoint or something, you're justified to take that life because you're protecting or saving the life of another, providing you hit your mark and all these other things don't go wrong. Yeah,
right.
I noticed you meant you said specifically officer, and my question is,
he was an ICE agent. Yes.
Yeah. My question is, did he have, particularly in light of the recent court ruling?
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with it. Are you trying to tell me, as a police officer, if you think your safety and your life is in danger, you can't shoot the person that's perpetrating that danger?
No,
he's not a police officer.
I'm saying that the distinction between a police officer and an Army or a military officer is entirely different. Military don't have the power or the authority to enforce local
That's not military.
law.
It's not military. That's ICE. It's our immigration patrol. They were there on fraud investigation. And this woman, I'll agree with Ben, it's well documented on Town Hall. She was a member of ICE Watch. She was obstructing justice. And if you watch the slowed down video, the wheels do turn right in his direction.
I've watched the video.
And
videos.
They turn.
Slowed down? You watch it slowed down?
Yes. Yes. And you can see she is looking to turn away from him. And none of that is an excuse for firing.
No, but my
well, it will be analyzed by computers, by the FBI, and the evidence will come out. But my point is the same. He thought his life was in danger, and he had the justification to shoot.
Okay. Thank you very much.